Alternative energy is a hot topic today, just as it was back in the late 1970s. But before E85 or biodiesel, a Champaign County man was making his own fuel in his backyard. Channel 3's Ann Anderson gives us the tour.
Frank Andrew is a Rennisance man working on a modern problem, the fuel shortage. Under a shade tree in his backyard, Andrew fires a stove. He is making 160 proof alcohol, or agri-fuel as he calls it, in a double-barrel distillery of his own design. Andrew is retired from the agricultural engineering department at the University of Illinois. Last fall, he began poring over books at the library on how to make one of these. He bought the corn at a nearby elevator and put it into a barrel. He collected branches and wood and garbage to burn in the stove and borrowed the best from other inventors.
This big tank is just an old oil tank that I've cut open and put a lid in it for a heater. It's just a stove, and cut a hole here to put the barrel in, and this is what it's heating, and this barrel holds the beer, as we call it, to distill off the alcohol, and the alcohol vapors go through the radiator and condense and then drip into the jug as alcohol. These barrels are not really pressure vessels, so I've kind of invented a sort of a pop-off valve. It's like an old pressure cooker. See, it's a brick on top of a board with a piece of inner tube there, so in case something stopped up, you wouldn't want the barrel to explode. It would pop off here just like a pressure cooker.
Just under 1 bushel of corn yields 2 to 3 gallons of alcohol. By using no fuel other than wood in the process, Andrew's alcohol is a lower proof, but a cheaper fuel than commercially produced. In addition to the alcohol, the mash left over from fermentation is saved. And with the help of Andrew's rake in the sun, the dried mash is fed to his neighbor Ed Poncho's herd of 7 cattle. And he can take the alcohol and put it straight in the tractor without adding any other fuel, and it will run. It's enough power to run the saw, break up the scrap wood, and fuel the still.
I tried to get rid of my oil man last winter by burning wood to heat the house, and now I'm hoping to get rid of the fuel man to run my tractor. It just makes me feel real independent and save, and I can make 1 gallon that didn't have to come from someplace else.
It may not look like much, a rusty oil drum, an old radiator guarded by a faithful dog. And considering its output, a literal drop in the bucket. But it stands perhaps for something more, as one man's private investment in a monument to American independence from foreign oil. In Champaign County, this is Ann Anderson.
Now, if that looked a lot like a still for making moonshine, you're not far off. Andrew needed a special permit from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms to operate it and was required to keep its product under lock and key.